Hi everyone, welcome back to my pregnancy vlog. First of all, my apologies for last week's week 17 being like 5 days late. It was a little too long and we had to edit it. And my husband was working like twice as much, so we had just like zero time to work on it. So that's why it didn't happen until the weekend, unfortunately. Um, but this week's should go up like the day after. So this should be up on Wednesday, so only one day late. But this is, of course, week 18. So I'm almost to the halfway point. And this week, a little baby is the size of a sweet potato or a croissant, which both are yummy. But right now, I'd rather have the croissant. So about 5.5 inches, anywhere from 5 to 6 ounces. And he or she now has fingerprints, which is cool. It's never something I thought of babies developing, but of course everyone has them. So week 18 is when they have their own fingerprints. And they now know how to yawn and hiccup, which I think was happening on one of the ultrasounds I've had recently, because we saw the little head like moving like very steadily, and I'm pretty sure that he or she had the hiccups. And of course, they're doing lots and lots of movement. Some of the baby development sites call the growing baby a little martial artist from all the punching and kicking, which I can feel here and there. He or she is still a little low to feel really well, but I can pretty much feel it. For me, some of the big week 18 symptoms that they talk about that I'm definitely in there with, one is appetite. I wouldn't say that my appetite is like doubled or anything. It seems more like I had this kind of schedule with my eating previously, where I would try not to eat past a certain time of night and then not eat until, a certain time in the morning. So I had this nice break of fasting before a breakfast. And that's really hard now. I get to like 10:30 or 11 p.m. and I want a bowl of cereal or almond butter on toast or a bagel or something. So appetite's definitely kicking up there with the weight gain of the baby. And of course, speaking of weight gain, that's something that's slowly, steadily again kind of happening, which is, as I've mentioned before, hard to really accept that yes, that's normal, it's supposed to happen. I have a little bit of it's kind of silly, a plan in my mind of where I want to be on the weight gain chart at what point. And I'm kind of on track, I guess. It's hard because from day to day your weight fluctuates, whether you've had enough water or depending on what you've eaten and when you've eaten. So it's hard to tell from day to day. So you really just have to look at a trend. If you keep track, you just have to look at a trend. So, and speaking of appetite and weight gain and all of that, I discovered last night that I am starting to lose room for my stomach. So we ate at an event that was catered, and it was food that I really, really enjoy eating. So I had a good portion, and afterwards, a portion that normally wouldn't have made me feel like this. And afterwards, I literally felt like everything was being squished in there, and I realized, oh man, I have less room now for my stomach. It's a little bit, but it's happening. So that's something I'll have to keep in mind. And again, a little bit with the back pain. Sometimes I'm not sure whether it's because of something I've done, whether it would be activity or bad posture or sitting on something wrong, or if it's just the pregnancy hormones, probably a combination of both. But one of the things that is starting to happen at this stage in pregnancy is the hormone that appropriately named relaxin starts relaxing all the ligaments and tendons and everything to prepare your body to not only grow with the baby but then birth the baby. And that's kind of starting to make things feel a little bit, I guess, looser, but it also can contribute to some of the aches and pains. And along with the aches and pains, they say come leg cramps, which answers my question of why, when I'm in bed at night time / morning before I wake up, whenever I'm stretching and stretching out my legs, that my calves get really, they feel like they're about to create a cramp, almost like a tension cramp when I stretch. So I immediately have to flex my feet and stretch out the muscles, my calf muscles. And it's been happening the last couple days, and I've been wondering, what in the world is wrong? Have I been doing too much? Have I not been stretching? And that answers the question. Leg cramps is a thing that starts to happen. So I just have to be mindful, I guess, to stretch and drink lots of water and all this stuff. And our good old friend, bloating and gas, is back, apparently, which hasn't really caused too much of a problem, but it's reared its head a little bit. So have to be careful of foods that are ingested and how much, that kind of thing. And staying active, because staying active helps keep things moving. So on to last week's, I guess, just this last week's schedule and staying on track with goals, apart from symptoms. I've been about the same, I guess, as far as eating and activity. A little bit better. I only think missed one day technically 2 days of workouts. But one of those days I spent the entire day either at a party, birthday parties, or cooking or baking or cleaning. So I was doing lots of stuff. Just didn't actually exercise. And then the other day was literally a day of complete rest, because the day before, which was the aforementioned party and cleaning and baking and cooking day, was not only busy, but went really late. So, but eating has been normal, I guess, for kind of what I used to do before I got on the healthy eating kick. So, not too bad, I guess I can just be happy that the scale isn't shooting up and that I'm not eating absolutely horribly. The appointments have been kind of piled on me the last week, which is really annoying because they keep making appointments for me and then just telling me about them. Last week, the end of the second half of last week was just insane. Not only, of course, with my husband's work schedule, but just, I don't even remember. I mean, I had another injection appointment, which was normal. I also had another ultrasound appointment to measure cervix. That one was annoying because they made it for me literally in the middle of my 18-month-old's nap. Right at the beginning of it. And so I had to find someone to come over and watch her, and had to rush out, which I didn't make it on time because toddlers don't always cooperate with their schedule. Normally she's asleep by this time, but that particular day, of course, she didn't want to go to sleep, so it took 15-20 extra minutes, and it was annoying, but I got there and it was fine. I did it. And then I was also handed a note saying, oh, by the way, you have an appointment next week, which is this week, at this day and this time, And first of all, again, it was like now right at the end of her nap, so I'll just have to get her up early. But it's also an appointment that they didn't actually tell me I was going to be having. It's a cardiovascular appointment, and they didn't say anything about it. They didn't say, beforehand, hey, we're going to be making this appointment for you, or hey, here's your appointment and this is what they're going to do. Nothing. It was literally day, time, place. And I was like, okay. And I actually called them to see if there's any way I could reschedule, and couldn't, because literally for the next 6 months they're booked. And she was like, you mean they didn't tell you what it was for? I was like, nope. So my only guess is, because I do have a history of a mild heart murmur, when I met with the specialist a few months ago, she made a comment about possibly doing an echocardiogram. So I guess that's what we're going to do, but I still don't know. So that's coming up this week, and so far no ultrasound appointment, so I'm guessing I get to wait another week in between from the last one. So hopefully appointments will start slowing down, and maybe I'll at least get a say in when they're scheduled, because that would be nice. So for this next week, the goal will be hopefully to let things slow down, get things back on track as far as all that, and just keep on doing the same things, taking care of the little one, taking care of the littler one, and taking care of myself. So to finish out, thank you all for watching. Again, hopefully you've returned from watching last week's and maybe the weeks before. Again, if you haven't subscribed, you should do it right now, because there will be more videos. And I know I've said this a few times, but I do promise that I'm going to be putting up in the very near future an about me video. It's just, again, this last week was super crazy. Barely had time to edit down last week's update and get it uploaded. So, but more videos of different types are coming. It's just getting them out. So, so hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on those. And I am just really glad that someone is watching this vlog, and I hope you guys are enjoying it.